Yeah, listen, power, listen, power. What's up, superstars? How y'all feeling? Yo, I'm gonna jump right in. I have a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze this stuff into like 15 minutes, but I might go over. It's a webinar I want to attend, but anyway, wow. Listen, I'm so this Pisces full moon is real. It's real. It's intense. It's put me in a space to where I need to be able to start expressing these emotions. Typically, I would transmute them or I would express them in other ways, but it's getting because of this is I'm in the midst of my twin flame relationship, and it's so incredible that I need to speak about it like real time as it's happening, so that it's captured in the moment. Like it is incredible. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the jewels that I have on the gemstones, and I can put them in the description. This is a jade copper ring a dope brother made for me. Or a family of creators made this jewelry, but not this one. This is a Super 7 bracelet I bought off Etsy, black as there's two light. Let me saw that. Black as there's two light. Son of the Midnight Sun, amber, and blue sapphire. And I'll put a description in the description and the details, metaphysical details about those stones. That way I have something to put in the description because I ain't putting shit in there. Anyway, this twin flame journey, oh my freaking goodness, it is so intense. Like I haven't really I've rarely ever spoken about my relationships to people. It's just not it's just something I've always kept private. But this one in particular, I know I have to speak on because of what it has invoked within me, and and the reason why I did that. And this is what twin flame journeys are. So I didn't do a lot of research on them completely because I just knew it was something that I wanted to experience because it is a part of some individuals' journey as they are going through their own walk of initiation into godhood. Essentially, is what it is. So a lot of people, anyway. So I was like, okay, I want to experience that. So really, I was studying. I'll go into my full path in detail later on, but uh, essentially, I got to a point where in my development of my internal being and just understanding. I'm sorry, I'm really actually recalling, which I don't normally do. Like it's because the depth of where I'm coming from and being able to express that is pretty rare. I'm more of a listener. I don't really like to um, express from this deep of a space. I'm still Genghis Kwan, but it's just I'm also me, Andre Kwan Driel Walker, who I was born, who I incarnated in this body as, what my mother named me, and for a good reason. But yeah, so I'm not typically going from those spaces, but Spirit is telling me that it's time to engage more of the people that I really care about and the public in a more vulnerable space. So that way it just allows me growth. You know what I mean? And hopefully it helps other people as well. But in this lifetime, I was born under the Taurus sun sign, but my North Node is in Gemini in the fifth house, if I'm not mistaken. So that essentially means I need to work on my North Node is in this space. So I need to work on being able to express myself in various forms and not in even such a serious like teacher way, but just have a good time and enjoy the fullness of expression. You know what I mean? And that's not something that I really focused on throughout my life because I was born in a religious household. So I really devoted my energies once I got of age and had a child. I really wanted to get a really solid understanding of religion, Christianity being the one that I was born into. So that became my focus. And anyway, so it just so going on this path. I forgot, I lost my train of thought exactly, but anyway, going on this path, it's kind of like the twin flame deal is a really important. I'm gonna just regard. So this is important. I need to get this off, but it's really important because it really it represents and it really is an aspect of you coming back to you. Some people say it would be like half the other half of the soul. Um, I don't know all of the dynamics behind that, but I can say I feel like we're all connected and we're all, pieces of each other. But also, some pieces have more percentage of the individuation of God. We call a soul. Some have more percentage of that is a part and reflection of you than others. And I think some of the highest, I guess, soul that would have a percentage of the individuated version of God that is you would be considered a twin flame. So it's really heralded, and it's something I'm sure a lot of people have experienced in life, but they didn't, because they weren't on their path. They didn't necessarily know the full dynamics of it. They just had the experiences of connecting with aspects of you, and oh my goodness, it has been incredible. Like, it has been incredibly exciting, like, clarifying, dramatic, intense, joy filled, like bliss filled, um, educational. Such a really big, like, just mirror reflection of yourself, and it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable, the intensity of it, right? Um, I needed to talk about this more in depth because of, like, how I came across that that's what this relationship is, and how I've been handling it, and what to expect, and where I'm at in it right now in particular. So right now in particular, I'll start with that first. Right now I'm in a space which is, I guess, it's commonly called like a no contact phase, or a separation phase as well. I'm in a no contact state. I'm thinking about the turtle and stuff. But it's in a separation phase, but essentially, and we didn't separate necessarily on bad terms because of how I responded to the situation as it was happening. But it was and that was completely blindsided me, and how I discovered it was incredible. But we didn't, we didn't separate on bad terms. So the potential is still there for a reconnection, but it just all depends on a lot of variables. But I'm going to keep sending good vibes out there for her, because it's not just about me wanting the relationship as much as it is also about um, like the healing and the fullness of the potential of those two beings coming together, is and working together, and dissolving their um, you know um, inconsistencies, and whatever particular things that need to be worked on for the relationship to be successful and sustainable. If you can dissolve those things in that depth, and that intensity of a connection, oh my goodness, like, you have something incredible. So I really desire, for it to work. But at the same token, it's like, it is what it is. I'm not completely like, I really care about this woman, but it's like I'm able to see the relationship in my human form and in my spiritual overseeing form as well. It's like, and it's been like that the entire relationship, and that's what's been like so incredible about this. So let me go into this card, because I just wanted to have some sort of structure, because of what I was talking about, and I could talk forever about certain things, and I got a little jazzy beforehand, so it might not be as structured as it can be. But this isn't really about like, this is about, like, throughout my life I've had a lot of great associates and a lot of great friends, and but I want deeper relationships, and I want more. I want better, um, more fulfilling relationships, I guess is the best way to say that. And one of the reasons why my relationships haven't been as fulfilling, I think, is essentially because of the lack of vulnerability. I would choose not to be vulnerable on certain things. So I feel like, okay, well, I'm in a much more comfortable stage of my life than I was before. Just growing up, I didn't really understand a lot about myself. So I wasn't really open with being vulnerable. I wasn't secure within me to even. I didn't even know me to share. So I had those are my processes that I had to really go through. So now I'm in a space because of just where I'm at spiritually in my walk with the Supreme, and just understanding. I know that now I'm in this space to where now it's important for me to be vulnerable and show care in not just counseling support, but also in just being um, a reflection of some sort. You know what I mean? And that, I think, is also a great healing and empowering tool, which is what I enjoy doing. You know what I mean? I enjoy giving the aspects of power that I've been shown. Giving, allowing people to activate that power within themselves as well. So anyway, I forgot exactly what the course train of thought was on that, but I wanted to get this. So anyway, um, yeah, it has been intense. It has been intense and incredible. Like, oh my goodness, like the best relationship I've had thus far. Which I don't know if a lot of people say that they might have had, but it's easily the best relationship I've had thus far. Essentially because it's not because of y'all ladies. So don't take that personal. It's because of those relationships that I've had before. It allowed me to grow and learn things from those different women, and that is what allowed me to grow, like real time, like not from a book or from a mentor or counselor, but it's like no, from somebody that I cared about and care about. They were showing me things about myself and about themselves that really stuck with me and allowed me to grow as a man, and as a father, as a king, as a human being, as a lord, and you're able to give those shadows to other people. So this was so intense because I hadn't been in this space before of being able to give and share as deeply as I have in this relationship, and I'm happy I was able to get to that space, because it allows me more growth and knowing that I'm going to attract even better, like an even better relationship the next time. I don't even want to say even better ones because I want the next one to be, the pivotal pinnacle one, of course, you know. So, but it's been just incredible, and I had to just now is like, man, it just unbelievable. All these different signs and all these different clues and just intuition and just psychic awareness, clarity being activated, and not only that, but like really being able to see so many people going through similar dynamics at the same time as me. Like I was even okay. Let me say, well, how I was made aware of I was going into the separation phase of the relationship was ridiculous. Like it was unbelievable how I came across it. And I was really being shown signs pretty blatantly, but I also knew because of all of that was going on in her world that she was getting depleted because things were happening in her world. And so it was like, wow, uh, yeah, how are we going to get beyond this? Like, how are we going to, um, especially because things were happening in my world. So anyway, it's just been unbelievable. But it was like, anyway, I know I keep saying that, but it's a lot of excitement, and I've been going for a while, and I haven't really said all of the details, but just gave a lot of excitement. So let me go into more about. So uh, so yeah, let me go into that part because I've already about to talk about it. So I literally discovered that we were about to go into the separation phase because it was like a Facebook post, and I hadn't even been on Facebook at all like that, like especially like I have been in the past. But I ended up coming across somebody's post where they were sharing these different zodiac signs and what was going to happen in a particular like period of time, like in the next month or so, what's going to happen for this zodiac sign. So I looked at towards my sun sign and just to see what it was, and I looked all through it, and then I seen it said somebody's about to ghost you, and I was like, what? Somebody about to ghost me? Well, she has been acting kind of distant. So I'm like, that's what she's been doing. Like she's still communicating, but she's just been backing away. I'm like, and it's shocking to me because I'm like, well, why are you backing away? Like, where is this coming from? It's not making any sense. And then I looked at it towards my sun sign, and just to see what it was, and I looked all through it, and then I seen it said somebody's about to ghost you. And I was like, what? Somebody about to ghost me? Well, she has been acting kind of distant. So I'm like, that's what she's been doing. Like she's still communicating, but she's just been backing away. I'm like, and it's shocking to me because I'm like, why are you backing away? Like, where is this coming from? It's not making any like logical sense, not making any logical sense, but I might not even but where's this coming from? And I might just go to this webinar for real. So then I looked at that and I was like, damn. And I seen her zodiac sign, and it said she's a Scorpio, and it was saying that she is going to believe in true love now. I was like, okay, well that's good. I don't want to be the preparation for the the match that you said. That doesn't, no, that's not ideal. So that was surprising, but then it kind of went into more of that situation until we had different encounters, and it wasn't until I was out of town. I had to do some work out of town, and I think I had probably seen it right before I left. And while I was out of town, I wanted to see her on video chat, and to see her face and how it looked at me, it was like, oh no, she's not really here right now. So let me go into uh, the twin flame experience in my now why I attract a woman that needs saving was a really big deal to come to the because a twin flame relationship is exposing you to you. I found out. So it really made me question why I keep attracting these type of women. So how I came across her was interesting. She worked at the same place I worked at. Uh, but prior to me meeting her, I had already had a plan of linking up with a young lady that I had known from when I was living in Texas. And it was a really intense, amazing relationship. And a really good friend, really dear friend of mine. Um, she was, but because, so she was supposed to fly in um, like the fall of 21, but we ended up getting into it and she canceled. I wasn't giving her enough attention or whatever, and she canceled it. All right. So then we ended up linking back up, and she says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna come February of next year." I was like, "Okay, yeah, that'll work. That's dope." And I said, even better, you can come on Valentine's Day weekend. That way, we'll have Valentine's. And it's crazy how that shit went. And lo and behold, now freaking October, November, December, January was crazy as hell in my world. Like I was working at this gig for like almost 3 years, and they suspended me for 10 days because I didn't want to. Basically, suspended for 2 weeks because I didn't want to stick a stick up my nose. And after they suspended me, I was supposed to go back, and I just couldn't go back. It was like that doesn't even feel right. So anyway, that on top of it, my car falling apart, all happened at the same time, and it was a rough journey into a whole spot. But I kept my vibes up. Bought a car. That car got stolen in December, beginning of December. So it's like, yo, what in the world? I sat still, kicked it. February of that next year, I started working at this place, and then probably like later on, like it had to be have no January I started working at this spot. I was supposed to be in December. Ironically, she started in December, and I met her in like the middle of January, and it took off like a rocket ship. It was unbelievable. Like I've had a lot of great connections. It was unbelievable, like because it wasn't. It was like I literally was not trying to get it to this space because I knew that I had a friend coming to visit me, but it was just like it was like a vacuum portal of bliss and joy and like fun and just happiness. Like it just like instantly, and then that's where we were. So then like it got closer to my friend actually coming, and I was like, man, I've been trying to like, listen, we're not in a relationship, but we just been talking, and started fooling around, making love, and it was like, man, I don't want to not tell her that this girl's about to come, and I couldn't tell her in the very beginning because that's not even none of her business. But it just the connection was so, and then I was telling her about like, trying to keep it light, not really going in like trying to say I'm going to be a man, just um, being a really good friend, a good associate, and let her know that I do have somebody coming to visit with me. Um, that's coming soon. And then I told her the exact time, and right before she ends up flying in, my lady had a dream about the situation. Basically, it was like, it was like she's seen the whole situation in fullness, like, and it was like, oh wow. So then I just told her what that dream was because I didn't want her to doubt her intuition. I didn't want her to doubt herself, and not saying that she would have anyway, but I just didn't. I'm not the type of person, and I'm more about the soul and spiritual development than I am about just my whole personal gain or whatever. So that's I broke it down, and she was like, okay, and she was hurt, um, but she really wasn't tripping like that. And but then when the old girl flew in, um, it got real, and it was intense. Like she was not feeling it. So now I'm like, oh man, what in the world? So now I'm trying to console old girl because I didn't tell the old girl that was flying in either. Because I couldn't tell her because we have been setting this up for so long. She had been wanting to see me for so long. Like it was probably like 5 years in the making. So I didn't want to. Now we got this. You know what I mean? Got to this point, and now I done met this person, and now I'm gonna cancel against. Like that's not. You know what I mean? And I could have, but that just was not the play. And I was hoping that it could have been a cohesive situation. Like, she understands that this is a friend of mine. I've known her for years. We were together at a time, but still, this was a friend, a really good friend at this point. And Scorpio, my lady, she was not trying to hear that shit. So it was like fuck. So it was like that was a what I guess call a tower situation for those who are familiar with tarot. That was a tower situation, like a motherfucker. But what happened was during that situation, it was kind of like our whole our body started to react to her wanting to go her own way. You know what I mean? Like our bodies, we started to feel it physiologically, and it was like, what? Like I've never felt this situation before ever. Whenever I was about to go my separate way, or she was gonna go her way, I never felt a physical reaction to it. Like it was literally like our stomachs was turning, and like our sacral was just turning. Like we were connected at the sacral now, and now we were thinking about separating. Now we had to tear this apart now, and it was like, what the fuck? So salvage that situation, with her. But my friend, she was, furious, and I love her to this day. But I know I mean, like most people are not gonna react in space to where that's okay. And so that was just wild and heartbreaking to have to deal with that. Then I was wondering, like, man, is this about to be an exchange, like a switch? And I feel like basically it kind of was, except for this was because that woman viewed me as her twin flame, but I knew that wasn't my twin flame because it wasn't like it was. She's a soulmate for sure, but it wasn't the same. Some things weren't all the way like down the line like I would expect a twin flame to be. And this woman that I'm talking about, the Scorpio, I'm gonna call her, is it is like that. It is like that. So got that first tower moment out the way, and it was like, man, unbelievable. So then after that, it was like smooth sailing, incredible journey, blissful, amazing, amazing, amazing. And we went out of town for my birthday, the best birthday I've ever had. I've ever had. It was an incredible time, an incredible time. We went to Nashville, and wow, you talking about like just joy. And we went to the cabin. We didn't do, we, it was like an Airbnb sort of thing, and they didn't have a TV in there, and they didn't even have an actual stove. They had like like a little microwave. We didn't use that. We just had a refrigerator, and we just had made. I had bought the stuff to make some salads. We had some food there. We had set it up nice, but it was really just like us and some music there, and we had some drinks. You know what I mean? And it was just like us talking. Amazing, amazing night, and amazing weekend. And we went a couple weeks after that. We went out of town again, and it was just like we went to a strawberry festival, but it was just like so. It was just like such a joy filled journey thus far, and it is this journey. But right now we're in the separation phase, and I want to speak on this. I'm probably going to start this over, but I don't know. I'll probably keep it because I just want to talk and express more of this journey happening in real time and get more of this vibe out here, get more of the joy of the situation. And, like it's not an ideal situation, but at the same token, I see the full scope of it. And I knew to begin with, like I was saying, I think I alluded to before, that it may be like this, but I was wondering if what I was seeing in the star charts would manifest like that, and if it was a way I could love through that and take it to like to where it just got transcended beyond the effects of the astrological dynamics that are taking place. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people are taking into account when they get into their relationship. They're trying to use, or they're using their intuition and all that type of stuff, which is great. Of course you have to use that, but and you also need to use other tools so that you can get into various dynamics of this individual and how you guys affect each other in your relationship, because you don't know the different energy signatures that this person is necessarily holding. I mean, you can feel some of them, you can feel a fair amount of them, but they have different depths to them that are affecting different areas of their body, their personality, their individual vitality, their subconscious mind, their emotional makeup. Like these different placements in the astrological charts are affecting these different areas. And as an individual person, and then when they come together with you, you got a whole new thing that has been created through your energy being distinct, but now combined. And that is something that you can account for through vibrationally and through the natal charts. And I seen different aspects in there that showed that it would be an intense connection, but then it would be like a forced separation that would be almost like beyond our control because of these different placements. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense, especially because of how incredible our connection is. And I say is because within me, it's not, it's hurt only because I'm not able to communicate. You know what I mean? And I understand her more than I guess other people do their mates, because they don't have all of the different details and information or the self-awareness that I have. So those makes it to where I'm not going to just be angry at her. I was hurt, and that hurt got intense and deep. But then it's like, well, I have to let that go and understand that you've seen all this. Like this was all shown to you before, and you just worked hard to try to avoid it, try to go around it. But then on certain aspects, because it was a reflection of you kind of created it too. And that was something I had to analyze. And for example, we started to do prayer. And I think it was not too long after I kind of started to see her like adjust certain things. I'm observant. I'm mindful about patterns, and I'm mindful about the energy and the excitement and the vibrations of the relationship. The morale, I guess you could say. And if I'm seeing certain shifts, and I'm want to try to combat that. Because I want the relationship to sustain and thrive. So I said, okay, we're going to start praying, just to make sure that we're knocking off any adverse vibes. And it's what she ended up telling me. And I don't know if she was trying to make up something to say, you know what I mean, so that she could have reason behind the vibrations that she was feeling. Because I think that was something too. Like you can feel the vibrations of the planets moving you in a certain type of way, and then you can attribute your own thought patterns to that feeling, to that vibe, and now you have made sense of what wasn't compelled from you. And that's why I'm very mindful about what I eat, what I take in, and who I am, so that I can understand as best as I can the difference between my personal vibrations and the vibrations of external force. Obviously, all of that is within you as well, but it's still like, is it something that you're consciously intending to create that vibration, or is that vibration Is it just affecting you outside of your conscious intention? I think that's the key to understand. And if you want to be in, you want to retain your personal power, then you need to be aware of these different influencing forces, and then understand, what takes you to the space of transcending the any force that you just don't want to be a part of your world. So I've seen it in these things. I'm trying to remember exactly what I was, but it was just incredible, and it has been incredible to see all of these different things. I'm gonna go back and watch it to see if I want to even save it or not. And if I do, then it's like, oh, whatever. I said enough of what I was trying to get out. It was long as hell. I still said what I needed to say. But so going back to that, so the prayer thing. So I started to pray because of what I was feeling was going on, and I wasn't feeling that vibe. And she said it was because of how I prayed. It made her take some steps back. And basically, it was like I prayed a prayer of, healing and joy and abundance to ourselves and our families and other family members around them, associates around them, 7 levels deep. But then I ended the prayer, and I said a lot more things. And then I ended the prayer, and I was saying, and I said, in our names we pray. Now, sometimes I end the prayer saying, in our ancestors' names we pray, or I say, in our names we pray. But I don't say, in somebody else's name we pray. And I feel like that's, once again, is you giving away personal power. It's you align with different powers, and it was through the awareness of Jesus Christ that I became Genghis Khan and a developed individual in my own right. But at the same token, it was also that same awareness that showed me that I'm showing you an example of you. This is what Jesus Christ was saying to me through the gospel that I've read and that I feel and that I live, was that I'm an example of you. So if you don't believe in yourself, then believe in me. But if you believe in yourself, then believe in you, because you are an example of me, and this is what the dynamic is. And he expressed that over and over again. So anyway, when she said that was she felt like that was a fallacy, and it was it was too much, and it's being too confident. I was like, what? Well, first of all, that shows me that you don't even know it. I took offense to it, but I didn't necessarily like express offense to her. I just was like, but this is an issue that we have, that people will proclaim a certain type of whatever faith or whatever that they say that guides their life, but they don't really fully know like the dynamics that go along with that. They didn't really fully walk that thing. And I knew that these our composite relationship, it showed that it was going to be, I think, a son was going to be in the 12th house, so it was going to have a lot of spiritual annotations there. So I knew we were going to have to dive into certain things. But we're going to dive into certain spiritual things. It was going to naturally be a vibration that we were going to talk about those things and delve into those different subject matters. And uh, it was interesting that she said it was because of how I prayed. That was one of the things that caused her to take her. And it was like, oh man, that's my fault. I took complete ownership to that. I said, man, that comes from me not expressing enough to people around me and people that I encounter how I feel about this relationship between us and the creator. It's I haven't been talking about this enough. And because she should know, as well as everybody else should know, that you are God in the flesh. You are the supreme being having a human being experience. That's what it is. It can't help, but it can't be anything but that. And but it, so I didn't go into all of it. Well, I went into some of those dynamics, but it was just like, what? First of all, I'm praying for us. The fact that you didn't put that as a priority over, it lets me know, A, you're trying to make up something and it's somebody else, or B, you trying to make up something and because this is the vibe that you feel, which is I had already seen in the chart about there being things that were going to compel a possible separation because of certain types of feelings that were there. But and so this is her going into that. But I once again reacted and continued to come from a space of love to where I honored all of her decisions and all of her choices as much as I didn't necessarily agree with that vibe, and know that it was unwarranted. It didn't come from like a logical space because of the contributions that I how I transformed her world. You know what I mean? And because I knew that's what I was there to do. It wasn't but I wasn't forcing anything on her. It was my the presence that I have because of the internal truth that I've cultivated. It sometimes intimidates people, you know, and that's not intentional. It's just because a lot of people aren't living their truth, so they feel that vibration of somebody having a certain vibration, and they sometimes people react to it in a way of intrigue and mystery, and sometimes people react in a way of um, intimidation and distancing. You know what I mean? And some people do both. You know, at the same, you know, like right after one another. And she was kind of doing that type of stuff all the times. You know, but it was just like, wow, this is incredible that this is an issue because it didn't make any sense. So but that was something that once again it caused me to know that I need to just start speaking, and I need to just put my energy out there as well, and put that energy in the airwaves so that it's just that much more promoted and reinforced of who we are, and that doesn't, no matter what, this is in the airwaves and in the ethers because I'm saying it and other people have said it, and it builds more and more momentum amongst the collective consciousness. I feel so having the courage to speak about certain things, it brings that to the forefront. So when I seen so many people having these situations, like it was somebody I had a young brother I had met at work. He was telling me about a situation he had met with a girl, and then she did just vanish thing, was on some other stuff. Another cat that I met out here on about, he was telling me that situation was going on in his world. A childhood buddy that I grew up, he was telling me about that situation going on in his world. One of my brothers, blood brothers, he had a situation going on in his world. And then I started seeing people on like different social media platforms speaking about this wave. It's like a wave, even like a wave of this sort of energy of people letting things go, people transitioning. You know, some people, you know, it's various things, but I've seen a lot of relationships, you know, and not all of them are permanently. All of the separations are permanent, or whatever. This is time I think of separation, and you reevaluate, you know, exactly what it is that you want in a relationship, and then see if it whatever it is, whatever relationship it is, see if it aligns with what you desire, you know. Excuse me. And if it does, you know, you go forward with that. Excuse me. And if it doesn't, then you have to have the courage to know what to do. So I think with me in that relationship, if I look back on it, I can say a lot of different things. Let me see if I was a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. When I'm talking about. I'm really it's really just me kind of venting, but also kind of trying to drop more of of me, and then some gems in there as well. But I know I needed to talk about this shit for real. I need to get this out, and it's all in love. You know what I mean? Like it's all in love and care, all in the utmost compassion and excitement for other people's journeys and other people's growth and other people's areas of development. Because I'm literally entering the most abundant, opulent season of my life, and it's something I've been preparing for years, and been planting the seeds for years. So it's really exciting. It's exciting. Like, and at the same token, it's like I want, you know, it's certain things that I wanted, and I've certainly wanted that relationship to be a part of it, and want it to be, and it will be. It has no choice because we're connected now, regardless of how we continue to move forward. But it was like, you know, I just wanted certain things, and really, it was her situation that, and it was our situation that compelled me to even get into this mode. You know what I mean? Not even this mode, but this just work where I'm working at, how I'm working now. It that compelled it to be. But anyway, yeah, this is good. This is what's needed. You know, I need to be able to express these things with me. You know, so many intuitive and flame distinctions. So I'm noticing. No, first let me finish what I thought about. Yeah, that blanket though. So astrology is something that really people should get into, and it's not because they believe that they believe in astrology. It's because astrology believes in you. the astrology believes in you, Jack. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not, because it's a factor. It's a part of the machine. I say the machine by identifying or classifying a system of operations that promote a desired result. So if there was a particular fuel source that can be considered optimal for the invisible realm, it would be the energy of human beings, and particularly the attention. And so the machine wants that fuel, and these different aspects and movements relative to us causes different vibrations that promote different physiological responses to your body, to your body. And I think that's something else that needs to be understood and really held in distinction, is that you are not your body. Like, you are not your body. You are your body, but you're not only your body. I think that's a better way to say that. Like, you are more than just your body. You have different aspects of you that make up the totality of your human being experience. Because you have an emotional space that transcends time and space. You have a mental space that transcends time and space, and you have a physical body that can transcend time and space, but usually stays within time and space. So your body is being affected by things, and you may think that it's you. So it's an important concept to really grasp as best as you can. You know what I mean? So that you can make a decision on whether you want to be influenced or you want to be the influencer. Do you want to be the influencer of your body, or do you want to be influenced by your body? Do you want your experience to be influenced by your body, or do you want to influence your body and generate the experience that you desire? So yeah, I had to touch on that. That was a big thing, seeing so many people going through at the same time and seeing those different things in the zodiacs. This being in the separation phase has caused me to even dig more into tarot. So that is incredible because of how well it aligns perfectly with the vibrations that are going on in the realm. The cards lay in the way that the vibration of that a vibration timeline potential is. The cards lay in a way that a vibration timeline potential is. But if you look in different astrological charts, if you look at different tarot readers and each one of them doing the same astrological chart, you'll see a similar pattern from them. All different readers, all the cards are laying how they are supposed to lay. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, and that's why I'm sharing this information, because it's important that my friends, the people that I care about, the people that fuck with me, really understand some of these dynamics and how for real they are, and how much they have been and are affecting your world, and how much power, how much creative potential you have once you become aware of these dynamics. Because some people are trying to work against the machine, and you can, but what it's better to work with the machine, and you can work with the machine and the creator of the machine to experience your world that you desire, but you have to be aware. I think it helps to be aware of these things to make that the logic of this creative potential available for you. But you don't need it. You don't need it. People do extraordinary things all the time with limited aspects of awareness, because it's all about, how well are you tuning in to you, and how um, locked in on a particular vision are you? Because that will determine. But it's variables to this. It's variables to this, and it's important to know that. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it's incredible when this many people are having a similar experience in the timeline. And there's, it's like, what is going on? What is going on? So, but it's great to know that you are, like, you're in alignment, and if you can be made aware of being up in alignment, then it just puts you in a position to step in whatever flow you want to step into. So anyway, something else I want to touch on was soulmate and twin flame distinction. I know a lot of people talk about this, so I'm not even going to go that much into it, but just what I've experienced thus far is just the depth of the twin flame mirroring is so deep. Like, it's so deep, and you have to be very aware of yourself, I think, to even attract excuse me, the twin flame, and be able to know the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame, because they are very, very similar. And they both feel incredible. You know what I mean? It's just a deeper level of intensity, a deeper level of reflection, and uh, but also like opposites as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so deep how that transpires. So it was, like I said, besides looking in the astrological chart and seeing like a couple very key placements, in particular, a north and south node. Um, I think it was some sort of opposite. Um, it was something I can find it, but it was something that identified that it was opposite ways. We had opposite north nodes. It was like, what? Well, dang, that sucks. But I'm in such a space to where, because I'm aware, I can make my north node go in any flow because I'm aware of it. I'm aware of me. Um, but that's not always the best play. It's just what I'm able to do, and I'm willing to do if it serves the greater good of all involved. So I think that's pivotal as well. But anyway, yes, the twin flame. Since it is unbelievably intense and passionate, unbelievably. Like, it was, even still, I think about her, and it's not because necessarily I even want to be with her. It's because the connection is there. And I know she's thinking about me too, because it was so intense. And I think about all the women that I've ever been with, you know what I mean, especially that I've actually like shared heart space with. I'll send them all love, and I send them all gratitude and thanks, and and much prosperity and abundance in their lives, whatever they have going on. But um, the level of intensity was unbelievable. So it was we were born the same birth year. I'm a Taurus sun sign. She's a Scorpio sun sign. So those are opposites. Like I said, born 84. I was born the 23rd. She was born in 26, so kind of like on the cusp a little bit of the signs. She's a Libra, Scorpio cusp. I'm an Aries, Taurus cusp. These are both Mars and Venus cusp. Like, the ruling planets of these two zodiac signs are both Mars and Venus. We both grew up in Christian type of environments, but my household was much more like structured and all the way involved in in that dynamic, and hers was kind of like, like the average thing, which is, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, ours was almost like a cult, people have called it, because it was so much time devoted. We're definitely going to go 3 days a week, but we might go 5, 6, maybe 7. School nights we might be there till 1, 2 in the morning. who cares? You know, we praising the Lord, serving the Lord. You know, that was philosophy, and that's the way it was. So, and you know that built me with a certain type of zeal, and so it's not it was the environment that I was supposed to be in to be able to become who I am, but it was different. So uh, yeah, it was her having the activated masculine and feminine energy within her, like I have that same dynamic within me that I'm fully aware of. You know, it was just even our dressing style. And we also even had a psychic link I seen in the chart, but we experienced it. And on my birthday, I'll put a picture up, and I even shared on social media after I put this video up that we when we went to Nashville for my birthday, we took a helicopter ride. First of all, we didn't show each other the outfits that we were going to wear, and we ended up wearing the exact same color on my birthday. And when we got there, we didn't show each other what we were going to wear. No, we did, and then we did. I was thinking if we waited to that day or not, but we showed each other when we first got there, and it was like what? Because we didn't pick up. It wasn't a common color. Like it was a certain type of color, and it matched the tee, and it was a really incredible time. And we was walking down the street, and folks was looking at us, and folks was coming up and talking to us, and I could tell they were talking to us in a type of way, like, "Who in the world are y'all?" You know, it was wild. It was wild, but it was a really incredible time, and had a lot of great times. But I'm mentioning the difference between the twin flame and the soulmate, and the depth of connection and the depth of synchronicity that you will see, so that you can know the difference between and be able to handle it accordingly, because there's a certain level of delicacy that is needs to be there, delicacy and awareness, because you have this is such a deep mirror for your growth too, though. It's not just for them, it's not just for y'all to have babies or have have great love making, but it's like, no, you need this for your soul to grow and for their soul to grow. um, so you have to be aware of what's going on. You don't want to just be reflecting later on during the relationship or after it has transitioned or whatever. You know, you want to be able to do that real time as much as you can every day, so that you can try to make adjustments and improvements as much as you can. There's a couple things that I jacked up on, and I realized that it was like, ah, shoot. And it was something that I knew that she needed to. It was something that she showed me, and it's something that I even did. Things that I did that I was like, oh man, this is the same thing that she has. You know what I mean? We're like the same person. It was just like certain levels of like when like just like confidence and expression with certain levels of that you could see that she didn't have for some reason, and it was certain for some reason I didn't have it. You know what I mean? Like it's like there really is no logical reason for this to be the case. We just feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Based off previous life experiences and this life experiences as well. I'm sure. And but we had those similar things, and it's really empowering to be able to know that I asked for it, and know that I handled it in such a way that it wasn't like I didn't scar her, because that was another reason, another thing that I was mindful of, and this is before I really knew the fullness of us being twin flames. It was like in the very beginning of our relationship. I was like, when my friend had flew in, it was like she was like, oh, you have a thing where you just want to, you want to save people. You want to, if they don't need help and they're not damaged, then you don't want to be with them. And I was like, no, that's not the case. You know, there is a certain dynamic that I had, but that's not the case in fullness. It was because I'm tuned into me, so I understand the dynamics of me and the dynamics of the like I know when my intuition is telling me and pulling me in certain directions, you know, and I don't want to be, representing the divine feminine and the masculine archetype, and divine masculine as well, and a masculine archetype. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to offend. You know, I want to represent in fullness of that, and I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be a scar for her. You know, even if that meant me being scarred later on. And I know that sounds kind of like, but it was like, no, that's not, because I can heal. You know, I've learned how to heal. And that might end up being a course I'll put out. You know what I mean? Like how to heal yourself from heartbreak. You know, how to recover, and how to really start to self-love, and self-generate, so that you can continue to have love for yourself and generate more love than you ever had before, and give more love to more people, and more care, more compassion, more understanding after you've had heart stretching situations, I call it. I don't like to call it that other term because it makes it seem like you're fragile, and that's certainly not the case. And not only that, but it's like if you can wrap your mind around and your heart around the situation, kind of turns with the lessons that you needed to learn, how you were the cause of whatever it was and whatever it turned out to be, then you can extract those gems and you can grow your understanding, which is heart expansion, which would be heart stretching. So it's not a heart. It can be a heart situation or a heart stretching situation. I ain't gonna say that term because that term has a lot of adverse energy that comes along with it. So I just didn't want to say that right now because the vibes are really good. No, but yeah, the depth of the synchronicity and the mirror, the reflection of the twin flame is so deep. And I often hear like they will say by those who have experienced um, their own twin flame relationship. Uh, Many of them say like it's too like it's like it's the same. Like you got two lighters. This is what I seen. You got two lighters for the twin flame relationship, and you got a lighter and a cigar for the soulmate relationship. It was like that. That was their explanation, basically, in pictograph form, I guess you could say. Excuse me, and about that, and it was like, but man, that's interesting. I wonder how often that is. Like, what is the ratio to where they aren't relationships that stay connected? Because that's something that I've seen a fair amount of times. I would like to try. I would like to get it right, and I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right, because of the love that I placed in her. But it's not necessarily even my will being done. You know what I mean? It's just like she can either step up to growth or not. If she steps up to growth, then we can be aligned. You know what I mean? Because that's the dynamic. But if she doesn't step up to growth, then I have to have the courage to say, well, this isn't something that we can do because there's various things in there that are going to keep us from being able to progress this thing. If you don't want any part of that, then I can't force on you, nor would I. It's a lot that comes with being aware. You have to, if you're aware, then you need to be responsible too. And a lot of people they just want to be aware. They just want information. They just want knowledge. They want wisdom. They say, oh, gangs. I wish I had your brain. I wish I had you. I wish you could take this off and then put it on mine. It's like, well, do you really want that? Can you handle that though? Can you handle what comes with this? Can you handle that? It's a lot of extraordinary love and bliss, but it can also be alienating to the people that you care about the most. Because you are in a different mind frame than they are in. And it's not belittling anybody. It's not saying that any mind frame is better. It's that if you get into a mind frame of a whole totally different type of way of living, lifestyle, multidimensional awareness, then people who aren't in that depth of awareness, that it's just going to be hard for them to relate to you on multiple levels. You can find levels to relate to them on, but they will be really seeking and searching levels to relate to you on until you make yourself more relatable. And that was something I had to work on being able to do, because that's not something that you should want to be. You should not want to be unrelatable. You know what I mean? Because we are all in this thing connected as one. So not saying that you should be like everybody, but you should have a desire to want to connect with people, and find common bridge points to where you can exchange care and compassion with one another. That's, I feel, is like the joy of being in the human body. Is that you get this variation of emotional experience, and you get the opportunity to create the type of emotional experiences that you desire. So going from a space of where I had to take a lot of time to myself to grow me, because otherwise I would always, it would have been easy for me to become like someone else that I feel people are comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been easier for me to just stay into that space indefinitely than to develop myself into where I'm so comfortable being so different, not necessarily even different, but just being so distinct. That's the term I keep referring to, distinct. It just Spirit put that in my heart and mind, because that's a powerful word, because different seems like you're separate, but distinct makes it, to me, it seems like you are unique. You know what I mean? Like you're unique, but still you can still be, in a unit. And you can obviously be that way with different too, but I'm just saying, like the vibe that comes with that word is what I'm trying to avoid. Anyway, so yeah, it was all of those things that really brought it to where I was able to see like who this woman was to me in my world, especially as time went on, as experience went on. And like I said, certain kinks in my armor that allowed it to where she would, those kinks would translate over. It's like, oh no, that's not what I even was trying to convey. And it's, some things were just unavoidable. She has two little boys, like 11 and 12, but because of how she chooses to have a relationship with them, then they feel like they are peers to adults, and that became a issue. Not and it wasn't even an issue that was bad to me. It was like um, it just, once again, it showed a correlation to me. I have one son, and he's a little bit older than they are, but it was still similar raising of how she's raising her two boys, on how my son's mother was raising him. And I went and actually got custody of him for a while because of just knowing that he needed to have some, he needed some touching up. You know what I mean? To get out of certain cycles. To outgrow certain cycles, he needed to get out of that funk, and that's kind of where. So anyway, the correlation was there to where it was like, this is this is a prime space to where it could be harmonious in that regard. And I pick up the slack here. So once again, these are just things that showcase this cohesiveness, to where let me know that there is like, this is somebody who's, we have a lot of connection points there that are deep, and not necessarily even like societal. Because when it comes to that sort of thing, especially right now, we're not necessarily aligned, but we kind of are as far as how we like view certain things. But as far as internal awareness, we're in two different realms, and that's wild, because when I seen the Matrix movie, the third one or the fourth one, I think it just came out. In this movie, it was like they were both actually in the Matrix again, and but it's like the Matrix is aware of the Matrix, which is wild. Because they were like talking about it, you know what I mean? But they were also in it. And his lady was fully immersed in it, to where, and she wasn't even like aware of it. And he went and got her, you know what I mean? He went into it and activated her, and that's essentially what I did with um Miss Scorpio. Is because I knew what was going on, and I knew at the time it could be anything. We had already had a quote unquote a tower moment to where things were about to fall apart. We had another one to where my folks had came down to visit. I wanted to introduce them, and then I ended up kind of showing a kink in my armor, as far as like confidence, because in my mind I was like, man, I don't want to introduce her to my family and then it not work, it not last, because it's not something that I don't bring women to meet my family. You know what I mean? That it's a personal relationship, and it typically stays that way unless I feel like, okay, we're about to get married, and it only happened one time. So besides that, I don't really show that. I don't even talk about this aspect of myself. So this is all like really foreign and new. But anyway, so yeah, it's just not something that I do, but I know it's something that I needed to start doing, need to do, in particular to the relationship that I feel matters the most, of course. So, but when it happened, it's kind of like, I don't even know what. I think I couldn't decide where we wanted to go, And oh, I think I just seen like, man, because Scorpio she eats flesh, animal flesh, and I don't. And I'm not knocking nobody that does. And I'm just saying, that's what it was. So I was like, oh man, they no telling how this is gonna be when they find out that she eats animal flesh. You know what I'm saying? Telling my sister's gonna say my sister is wild. My mom is wild too. They were the only two up here at the time, and they were about to get to meet her. And all that was happening as I was about to link it up and set it up, and then we ended up. I think they were hungry, and it was just a lot of variable factors there that I seen. It was like you know, uh, you know, and then so we didn't do the whole. It took forever to kind of figure out what we're going to do, and then we ended up going to get something to eat, going to get something to drink, because especially because they were already hungry. They had drove from out of town, and then as we was trying to, so then later on, me and my sister we kicking it. I was like, you know what, we can go through there, and then it was like she wasn't having it. She was fired up. She wasn't answering. It was like what? That was a no, another like what in the world? Like it was kind of like another tired moment. So then I had to go there that morning and bridge that up. So we already had a few of it. So okay, so I'm not man, okay, and these are coming out of completely like to me they are situations that could be easily resolved, but because this is a reflection of me and the intensity is so enormous because of the relationship, and it's like all these things that should be able to get ironed out are massive situations, and we had a couple of them. We had quite a few of them. So I just was trying to give her as much game, as much information as I could, getting her the crystal that I felt like she needed. That spirit was guiding me to give her, um, from my collection. Some stuff was for her that I bought for her, but it was certain things that I knew. Okay, you need this because you have certain traumas that you need to process, or you need certain, because you're in certain emotional spaces, certain vibration spaces that aren't ideal for your growth, and you've been in them for a while, and then she had things happen in her world, like a transition in the family, a baby, a boy, like a baby. It wasn't like a baby, but it was like, he was like 10 years old. You know what I mean? It was sad. Our nephew. I wouldn't even say all that. And blessings to everybody. May everybody live long and prosper. But that happened, and then it was a relationship. A dear friend of hers just stopped communicating with her, and all that stuff like really hit her heavy. So it was like, wow, what in the world? So I was okay. I need to give her as much as I can before it. For some reason it ends up doing what ended up happening. So that's a space we're in now, and I think we'll talk. I don't know if we build. Like I said, I'm going to project that because I think anything's possible. But at the same token, it's going to be what it is, and I'm excited about my next relationship. You know what I mean? Because they're getting better. They're getting more extraordinary. You know what I mean? Like they are getting more extraordinary. So I'm excited. Um, but one of the last things I want to talk about was what to expect and how to prepare and confirm and accept the fact that you may separate and you very well may come back together. I think that's important to know because that's it can allow you to release the anxiety and begin to just focus on yourself and then allow whatever needs to happen. Um, but also being willing to, send healing and send loving vibrations. I mean, and really put time and energy into that as you should with any of your spouses. I bet we don't do that enough in our homes, is really pray with our spouses and for our spouses, like literally like every day. That's something that needs to happen all the time. And even when you're not with who you want to be with, you still should be giving them love and giving them energy, because if that's who you want to be with, when they come back to you, you want them to be whole and healed, don't you? Right. So if that's what you say you want, even if you're not with them, then still send them that energy. So that way, if they come back and when they come back, they're better than they've ever been. You know what I mean? Not tore tore up and beat down because they didn't went through all this jacked up stuff because you've been wishing that upon them, and the whole time they was preparing to come back to you. That's heavy. That's heavy. So anyway, my laptop is winding down. Very small machines, but I wanted to touch on those things. I know I was all over the place, and this was like a long talk. This is a long time I've ever actually done on YouTube. Hopefully it saves. Hopefully it makes sense to somebody else. If nothing else, it makes sense to me. um, um, but I wish, send, project, create, manifest just joy and bliss, empowerment, and clarity to everybody, any and everybody, and may healing and blessings abound to you and to those who are around you and those that are around them. and go. May that go 7 levels deep. May that healing and joy and bliss reverberate amongst all of your friends and all of your peers and associates. May you prosper in everything that you do. And our name's super. Now I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But no, but be blessed, be loved. It's just funny to me, man. It's funny because I'm going to be me and and love you anyway for you being you, you know. And I think that's the true definition of unconditional love, and that's the space that I really wanted to get into. And that's why it was just certain things that she was bringing to me, and I was like, okay, well, that's all. You know, that is what it is. It's not going to be something that causes me to say, well, we can't be because I'm not allowing. Now I've done that before, so it's not like that's something that I need to grow into. I've done that before, so but it was like, oh, but more times than not, I was the one putting conditions on certain things. I'm saying, hey, if you're not eating like this, then it could be an issue, especially because I want to have a child with you. I want our child to come through with, you know, with as few tarnishes as possible. So don't take that personal if you eat. You mean what I'm doing is expressing that there was a time where when I'm magnetizing my goddess, my queen, my wife, it was certain conditions that I had in place, and I was not willing to move on those, and that created an adverse charge. I feel for the magnetism of that. And now what you're gonna do? So when that happened, when it came to me, I said, okay, I did magnetize that to me with that charge, so I'm going to walk this walk, and because the feeling is there and the vibes are there, so I need to honor that and see what could happen. You know what I mean, and not place conditions on my love. So, and I feel like I did a great job in honoring that as much as I could to a pretty high degree, and I know that because I've consistently been rewarded emotionally and spiritually since that connection, and it will forever be that way because of what I was able to gain going through this. It was a war of love. It's been a war of love. I guess that's it. I don't know, but it's been incredible. It's been quite the growing experience. So it invoked. I think that's the term. Evoked, evoked. No, evoked. Invoked something in me that I needed to know, um, and I needed to have active in me, and that's just full self assurance and ability to be vulnerable, ability to be ridiculed, ability to be quote unquote considered a failure, um, and being okay with that perspective, um, because that is you become invincible in your vulnerability. I feel, I feel that you can gain invincibility in your vulnerability, and that's what I want to grow into, and I want to be able to share that with other people as well. You know what I mean? And make it a a purposeful, constructive vulnerability. You know, 'cause sometimes people, sometimes folks vulnerable, and you rather keep that shit to themselves. But no, it's all good. I'm happy they got it out and was able to express themselves and however they chose to. But I want to be as constructive as I can, if nothing else, constructive for my own just expression of my own range of expression. I should say so. I might do a poem later on. Upload another live of me doing a poem, but I just wanted to touch on this, and I didn't want to shy away from touching on this. It was something I had went back and forth about being vulnerable about, but I also wanted to honor the full moon, lunar and Pisces, and full moon and Pisces, and just express emotions that I typically may not have expressed or wouldn't express before for various reasons. Like, well, you know what? This is that type of moon, so where the feelings are there, the vibes are there. I can either be in my feelings or I can be in my feelings and express my feelings about those feelings. or my feelings about these situations in my life that have created circumstances that could have that have they've generated these circumstances have generated intense emotions and intense feelings, you know, and I'm honoring all of them, and also making sure that I transmute those that I need to transmute, which is important. Once again, uh, you know, it's about loving yourself and growing yourself. And Ho'oponopono. I got us put that on early, and I wanted to make sure I put that Ho'oponopono. Um, Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. It's those four phrases, I believe, but it creates an incredible amount of quantum healing, healing on multiple realms apparently. So I want to touch on that. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to honor the full moon in Pisces, and express emotional space that typically I've actually held guarded. So I hope it was appreciated. I hope it, like I said, it empowers someone. It gives someone some awareness, um, inspiration, um, their own form of acceptance to relationship dynamics. Oh, it was another thing. Oh my goodness, it was another thing that happened. The spirit was just showing me. It was like so. Uh, I, once I seen once things started going on how they were going on, and like just and it started, I could tell we was going into a space where it's possibly going to be separation and no contact. Then I was like, man, what in the world is this a twin? Is this a twin flame relationship? I said, well, let me look up this shit some more. I've been asking for it, knowing that I wanted it, know that I wanted to have this experience to grow within, and but I don't know all the dynamics of it. And this shit, I'm pretty sure this is a phase of it, but I don't know how. You know, how often do they get back together? You know, about. So I tried to look it up on YouTube, twin flame relationship experience, and then a video came up. You know, a video came that I clicked to see that video, but then an advertiser came up for that video playing. Of course, you know how YouTube get down, and it was this cat talking about this course he created, and his course was like basically telling men how to handle being broken up with, and how that is a cycle, you know what I mean? And you have it's a phase that a lot of women do, and it is a you if you handle it properly, she could come back into your world, and you guys can be a great thing if it's handled properly. But it's important for you to understand what's taking place, because I ain't trying to give my man a whole course away, but it was like, and I didn't buy the whole course anyway. But it was like it was explaining that, you know, the male archetype and the female archetype, this gender, quote unquote, this sex, this division of the human being, they have two different ways of thinking predominantly, and most of that gender doesn't know how the other gender thinks. And so he was breaking this down, like women have a certain type of pattern that they show consistently, and if you become aware of that, then you can work with that rather than just be surprised and confused by it and then reacting emotionally to it, and then you're not able to have the types of successful intimate relationships that you want. And he was giving his whole testimony about how he was able to get his lady back when he went through what he had went through with her. And he, you know, they had a successful relationship for years down the line. And he's done it a couple of times, and he's done it for other people as well. Yes, ma'am. Hold on one second. I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you.